The Eltarans had always seen themselves as the stewards of the galaxy. Their crystalline ships glided through the stars, carrying the weight of millennia of exploration and knowledge. Their purpose was noble, or so they believed. They uplifted the lesser species, guiding them toward enlightenment. It was their burden, their gift. On the edges of the Orion Arm, their scanners picked up something intriguing, a blue-green planet teeming with life. The initial readings were unimpressive. The dominant species, humans, appeared primitive, only recently mastering rudimentary interstellar communication. Their energy signatures were weak, their technology barely scratching the surface of quantum manipulation. Another backwater world, scoffed Vraxen, the lead xenobiologist. His tendrils shimmered with faint disdain as he studied the data streams. Still clinging to combustion engines and chemical rockets. Pathetic. But there was something odd about Earth. Beneath its vibrant biosphere lay traces of anomalous energy signatures. At first, the Eltaran crew dismissed it as a natural phenomenon, perhaps geological activity or an ancient meteorite impact. Yet, the readings persisted, growing stronger the closer they observed. Curiosity got the better of them. They dispatched a probe, cloaked in advanced stealth technology, to gather more data. The probe descended into Earth's atmosphere undetected, weaving through storms and satellites until it reached the surface. What it found was unexpected. Humanity had developed an astonishingly intricate network of information sharing, what they called the Internet. It was chaotic, sprawling, filled with trivialities and conflicts. But beneath the surface chatter lay something else. Hidden in their myths, their stories were patterns, references to great awakenings, forgotten ages, and fallen civilizations. The probe detected traces of materials on the planet that were not native to its solar system, some impossibly ancient. Impossible, Vraxen muttered as he reviewed the findings. No species this primitive should have access to such remnants. This predates even our own emergence as a galactic power. The more they delved into Earth's data, the more unsettling it became. Human languages, though diverse, carried linguistic markers suggesting deep, shared origins far older than their recorded history. Artifacts buried under miles of sediment defied explanation, ruins carved from materials unyielding to modern tools. "It's as if this species has been here before," said Rhinox, the mission's historian, his voice tinged with unease. "And they've forgotten." The Eltarans decided to investigate further. They sent another probe deep beneath the planet's surface, targeting the source of the anomalous energy. It discovered vast caverns, filled with monolithic structures. These were not human creations, at least not the humans they were observing now. The structures pulsed faintly, as if alive, as if waiting. They were covered in symbols that defied translation. But one thing was clear: this was not the work of a primitive species. For the first time in centuries, the Eltarans hesitated. They had come to study, to uplift, perhaps even to conquer. But now they realized they might have stumbled upon something far older, far greater than themselves. They were not the teachers here. They were the students. The Eltarans debated their next move with uncharacteristic caution. Their confidence, so deeply ingrained from centuries of dominance, wavered. The artifacts beneath Earth's surface hinted at technology and knowledge far beyond their comprehension. Even their most advanced algorithms failed to decipher the symbols etched into the ancient monoliths. The faint energy pulses emanating from the structure suggested functionality, yet their purpose remained a mystery. "This changes nothing," Vraxen insisted, his tone firm though lacking its usual conviction. "Humans are still primitive. Whatever these relics are, they must belong to an extinct precursor species." But the probe's findings contradicted that theory. DNA fragments found in the subterranean ruins bore striking similarities to modern humans. The implication was staggering. Humans were not the inheritors of this world. They were its original architects. Somehow, they had lost their knowledge, their power, and their place in the galaxy. Rhinox, ever the skeptic, pored over human history. Their myths and legends spoke of gods and titans, great floods, and golden ages long past. Could these stories be distorted memories of a time when humans ruled not just Earth, but perhaps even the stars? "Consider this," Rhinox said during the tense deliberations. If these humans are the remnants of an elder species, what does that mean for us? Could their decline offer warnings for our own kind? The crew's unease deepened. The Eltarans prided themselves on understanding the life cycles of civilizations, but humanity defied categorization. How could a species so seemingly backward carry the genetic and historical markers of a once great power? Their probes continued to dig, uncovering more startling discoveries. In the ruins, they found machines constructed from alloys unknown to the galaxy. Some were shattered beyond repair, but others appeared dormant, waiting for activation. Yet, despite their advanced nature, these machines bore unmistakable design elements that aligned with human ingenuity. Meanwhile, Earth's surface seemed blissfully unaware of what lay beneath. Humans squabbled over resources, politics, and ideologies, their gaze fixed firmly on the present. It was almost tragic, the Eltarans thought. These beings, descendants of an ancient empire, had become so small, so unaware of their potential. And yet, there was something unnerving about their resilience. Time and again, humanity had faced near extinction, from natural disasters, plagues, wars, and self-inflicted wounds. Unlike most species the Eltarans had encountered, humans adapted. They rebuilt, often stronger than before. The more the Eltarans observed, the more they realized that humanity's true strength wasn't in their technology, but in their relentless will to survive. A chilling thought emerged among the crew. What if humanity's decline was not a failure but a strategy? What if, in the face of some unimaginable threat, they had deliberately regressed, retreating to rebuild in secrecy? The energy pulses from the ruins grew stronger as if responding to the Eltaran presence, almost as if they were waking up. This species is not primitive, Rhynix concluded, his voice heavy with realization. They're dormant. And now, they're stirring. For the first time in their long history, the Eltarans felt fear. They had come to Earth to enlighten, to guide. Instead, they might have reawakened an elder force that had merely been waiting for the right moment to rise again. The awakening began subtly, almost imperceptibly. The energy readings from the ruins spiked in irregular intervals, sending shockwaves through the Eltaran sensors. The once dormant monoliths now emitted harmonic vibrations, their frequencies resonating through Earth's crust. On the surface, humans went about their lives, oblivious to the ancient mechanisms stirring beneath their feet. For the Eltarans, this was no longer a scientific expedition. It had become an existential crisis. The crew scrambled to make sense of the changes, but their instruments were failing. Systems that had functioned flawlessly for millennia began to glitch and falter. It was as if the planet itself resisted their presence. "What's happening?" Vraxen demanded, his usual composure cracking. "These readings make no sense. The laws of physics shouldn't allow this." The data was clear, even if it was incomprehensible. The energy pulses were synchronizing, forming a pattern too deliberate to be natural. It wasn't a random phenomenon. It was a response. The Eltarans, in their arrogance, had triggered something buried deep within Earth's forgotten history. Rhynix studied the data in silence, piecing together the fragments of humanity's ancient past. The ruins, the artifacts, the energy, it all pointed to a civilization that had not just flourished, but had dominated. A civilization that had achieved technological heights the Eltarans could scarcely fathom. And then, inexplicably, it had fallen. But what kind of species could survive such a collapse? The answer lay in the humans themselves. Their history was a tapestry of catastrophes, yet they endured. Wars that should have wiped them out only forged stronger societies. Disasters that could have eradicated them instead became rallying cries for innovation. Humanity's ability to adapt was not just remarkable, it was unparalleled. It's a defense mechanism, Rhynix realized aloud. They've done this before. Collapsed, rebuilt, and thrived. We're seeing the aftermath of a cycle that could have repeated countless times. The ruins confirmed his theory. The monoliths weren't merely dormant, they were storing information, technologies, and power. Humanity's predecessors had prepared for their own decline, leaving behind tools for their eventual resurgence. The Eltarans were not witnessing the resurgence of a lost civilization. They were witnessing the revival of a species that had mastered the art of survival. And then the signals changed. No longer chaotic, they began to emit structured patterns, messages. The Eltarans attempted to decode them, but their algorithms failed. The symbols on the monoliths defied translation, yet they carried an undeniable intent. It was as if the ruins themselves were watching, waiting to see what the intruders would do. The Eltaran crew grew restless, their unease mounting with every passing hour. For all their advancements, they were out of their depth. Earth was no ordinary planet, and humans were no ordinary species. What they had dismissed as primitive was now a source of unparalleled mystery and power. The vibrations intensified, shaking the very ground. The Eltarans could no longer ignore the obvious. Humanity was not a species to be uplifted. They were a species that had already ascended and descended on their own terms. The awakening wasn't just a resurgence. It was a reckoning. The final realization came not from data or analysis, but from instinct, a primal fear the Eltarans hadn't felt in eons. The energy readings reached critical levels, the monoliths now thrumming with a power that bent the very fabric of space-time. It was no longer possible to view humanity as a dormant species awakening slowly. Whatever humanity once was, it was returning with purpose, and it was vast. The signals from the monoliths began to coalesce into something tangible. Not words, not images, but raw understanding. The Eltarans experienced a flood of impressions, memories not their own, echoing through the ruins. They saw glimpses of an empire that had spanned the stars, its reach extending farther than even the Eltarans' own. They felt the weight of decisions made on a scale incomprehensible to lesser beings. And then they felt the fear. It was the fear of a species facing annihilation, not from external forces but from within. Humanity had reached heights so great that they had become their own greatest threat. Their empire collapsed under the weight of its hubris, but they did not perish. Instead, they chose to forget, to retreat into simplicity, to bide their time. The ruins, the energy, the awakening, it was all part of a plan, set in motion eons ago. "This is beyond us," Rhynox admitted, his voice trembling. "We're not dealing with a forgotten species. We're dealing with the architects of their own survival. They've been waiting for this moment." The vibrations from the monoliths reached the surface, triggering tremors felt across the planet. Humans, still oblivious, chalked it up to natural phenomena. Yet, in isolated pockets, there were stirrings. Sensitive individuals began to dream of the stars, their minds filled with fragments of ancient knowledge. Inventors and thinkers felt inexplicable bursts of inspiration, as if guided by unseen hands. For the Eltarans, there was no question left to answer. Humanity was no longer a mystery to be solved, but a force to be reckoned with. The monoliths pulsed in a rhythm that matched the beating of a heart, as if the planet itself was alive. The energy emanating from Earth now reached the Eltaran ship, disrupting systems and shutting down critical functions. Vraxen's confidence shattered entirely. "We need to leave. Now." This species, they're not just waking up. They're remembering. And when they fully do, I don't think they'll welcome us. The crew hastily prepared their ship for departure, but the damage was already done. As the vessel broke orbit, the Eltarans felt the weight of what they had witnessed. Humanity was not a species to be pitted or guided. They were not lost children. They were the remnants of an elder force, one that had mastered the cycles of creation and destruction. And as the Eltarans fled, they couldn't shake the feeling that their presence had accelerated something inevitable. Humanity's resurgence was no longer a question of if, but when. And when that moment came, the galaxy would tremble, not at the rise of a new power, but at the return of its oldest one.